Before I get too deep into this video, I want to make one thing abundantly clear. This is in no way meant to be an attack or some form of slanderous campaign on Black Clover. Personally, I actually really enjoy the series quite a bit and have been following it for a number of years. What I'm trying to do here today is mainly give a historical account of what led to this series grinding to an almost complete stop in terms of mainstream attention. I just wanted to make that clear, get it out of the way before people start jumping down my throat. Alright? With all that out of the way though, let's finally talk about why Black Clover is a two-pack of ass about what led to one of the most popular and successful new-gen anime and manga becoming a shell of its former self. Really quickly though, make sure to leave a like. It really helps out videos like these and lets me know you want to see more from me in general. Now, before the current state of Black Clover can be talked about, I feel it's important to start at the beginning, which, believe it or not, for those who don't know, was actually a pretty terrible time for the series as a whole, because despite the actual quality of the manga, which not only looked great but was also incredibly fun to read with excellent pacing, the same could not be said for its counterpart. The anime has unfortunately done irreparable damage to the identity of Black Clover, and to this day is still the reason why many refuse to even give it a chance. I'm not entirely sure what the reason was behind the terrible production at Studio Period that was the cause of so many blights on Black Clover's name, but this issue in the production line plagued the anime for damn near its entire run. The studio could never seem to find solid footing to help them gain consistency in quality. But on the flip side, I would be lying if I didn't at least acknowledge that over time it did actually get marginally better, even having a number of episodes be real standouts. That in turn garnered massive online and outside attention. The example that immediately comes to mind that best represents this is episode 49, where Asta and the Black Bulls go and take on Veto. And Asta shows that his determination is unshakable even in the face of overwhelming despair. And believe it or not, this episode is actually what caused me to really start to give this series my attention. But besides all that, this episode also started the trend of Period using Hikaru Mirai, or Haruka Mirai, however you say that, for almost every standout Asta moment. Which I have no problem with, by the way, because that song is an absolute banger. Speaking of songs, in relation to this moment, outside of the openings for the anime, Asta overcoming Veto is the most viewed sequence from the show, which goes to show just how massive of a moment this actually was. And while the anime still struggled after that episode aired, as mentioned prior, this got many eyes onto Black Clover, and in time the show got better and better, leading to one of its first major peaks, the Elf Invasion arc. To take it back to the manga for a second, this was also one of the pinnacles for Tabata as well, especially from a writing perspective. After all, a majority of this arc dealt with so much that had been established since the very start of the story, and Tabata absolutely nailed almost everything that he had set up pertaining to this arc. However, during the weekly release of said arc, it started to become clear just how much of a toll this manga was having on its creator. From delays to unfinished chapters to actual breaks because Tabata himself was too unwell to work, and this pattern of disruption and sickness would be what ultimately led to Black Clover leaving Weekly Shonen Jump entirely. But we'll get to that later. To go back to the anime though, something must have happened internally when this arc was being discussed over at Period, because at times it felt like a new life had been injected into the studio, such as that the highs that the animation went to were unbelievable. Now it's been a while since I've seen this arc, but I can still vividly remember it was unbelievably creative, vivid, and interesting to watch, and also led to an insane twist that I most certainly did not see coming. Then, as the episodes progressed, the epic and well-animated moments started stacking up. Noelle attaining Valkyrie and teaming up with the Nozel, Maria Leona and Fuegoleon landing that double finisher, Asta confronting Patry, Asta and Yuno getting 1v2'd by Lick to the first Wizard King returning. There was just so much to enjoy during that run of the anime. And even if some episodes weren't necessarily the best, the highs were incredible even still. After the conclusion of this arc though, the anime then went on a break because of, let's just say, certain conditions that plagued the world at that time. But its absence, in a way, allowed the manga to spread its wings, seeing as how it was now the only source for the story to continue, and during that time, specifically during the Spade Invasion arc, Black Clover's manga became the most popular it's ever been, and rightfully so. Because despite any issues some may have from a storytelling perspective, this arc is still the series at its best, delivering heart-pounding action and stakes, truly emotional moments that lead sometimes actually to insane twists, and art that is just a feast for the eyes. And speaking of twists, this arc concludes with one of the greatest plot twists to ever take place in the shonen world. Tabata was doing immaculate work here, but it unfortunately came at the cost of his health because, yet again, it became an issue, leading to a bunch of the major issues that plagued the previous arc to occur in this one as well, which in the end, I believe, was one of the many factors that caused him to take a 3-month break after chapter 331, although the official statement only states that that was done for story reasons. But the results speak for themselves. Tabata, throughout his entire time creating Black Clover, has always seemingly struggled with health issues, due to the massive toll that creating a weekly shonen manga takes, which is why, even after the 3-month break, problems occurred again. This time, though, it wasn't just himself. His whole family was dealing with health issues of their own. As a result, Tabata ended up deciding to leave the weekly format entirely and move to a quarterly release schedule, allowing him to take care of matters at the home and be with his family more often. In a similar vein, but without the family aspect, once the anime returned, to a roaring applause I might add, with the opening hitting #1 on the YouTube trending tab, after a certain number of episodes, it too needed a schedule change. Unfortunately though, the result of that change meant no more show for the foreseeable future. With everything that's happened to Black Clover, it's hard to say when exactly the downfall started to take place. In my personal opinion, it's when the anime ended. The manga for Black Clover, while popular, was never on the same level as like a Jujutsu Kaisen or a My Hero Academia. It still sells very well, but the anime was a different story entirely. It may have gotten off to a rocky start, but while it was airing, Black Clover was one of the most watched shows on Crunchyroll. And you know, that right there is why I fully believe that even though the series may be in a very low spot, literally all it needs is for the anime to return. I mean, not too long ago, but long enough after the anime had ended, a movie was released for Black Clover called Sword of the Wizard King, and that did amazingly well on Netflix. So the demand is there, the people are waiting and ready. It's now just up to Periot to deliver and really bring this beloved series back into the limelight. An anime adaptation of the Spade Kingdom Invasion arc, if handled well, would bolster the popularity of the series to newfound heights never thought possible. Until then, however, Black Clover will remain a manga that still does well enough, but struggles to regain the notoriety it once held. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is going to do it for this one. So, thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe with the notifications on. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody!